welcome to this edition of Feel Good Friday. I have Renish here. She's the woman behind Fidget toys, which are toys for people on the autism spectrum. So we're so excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, and we're so excited to talk about how these toys can help people on the spectrum and also help with people with anxiety. And so we'll get right into that in a minute, but first let's talk about some news from this week. So I'm sure, as all of you know, Starbucks launched their Unicorn Frappuccino to bring a little bit of magic to this week, and it's only available until April 23rd, so end of this week. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't. It kind of scares me with all the colors.
Right? It's a lot of colors to digest, and yeah, there's like 53 grams of sugar, which is like a day and a half worth of sugar.
Wow.
So I'm not sure I'm going to try it, but it's that limited time thing. Makes you want to try it. You're like, if I don't, what am I going to do?
We'll go for some after this.
Sounds good. Yeah. It's definitely very Instagram worthy, which is probably why they came out with such a colorful drink. On the other side, both Toronto teams are doing well. We're both in playoffs. The Raptors and the Leafs are in playoffs. I can't remember the last time both teams were in playoffs and actually had a shot of winning it. So that's really exciting. Are you a fan?
Definitely. Raptors all the way. I think it's just having faith, because I remember the game between the Heats. So I was actually at that game, and that's where the fight and everything broke out, and they were playing to the very last second, and they did win, but you can hear the crowd being like, we're going to lose this too. I'm like, just have a little faith. So I was that little, positive cookie in there. And I was like, just have a little faith. I know they're going to turn around. I know. And then they ended up going overtime and whatnot. So it was a phenomenal game. And Kyle Lowry is playing again, so...
Yeah, and he's back on his game after that one not-so-good game where he only scored like 4 points, was it?
Well, let's not.
We'll leave it. He's good. He's doing well. And the Leafs lost last night, but they played well, and we are now tied in the series, so we still have a great shot against Washington. So that's exciting. And I like that you talked about faith, because I was literally watching... at dinner the other night with a whole group of people who are very into hockey, and they're like, I'm just not feeling it. I really just don't have that comeback feeling like we're going to score and win the game, and they happen to be right. So, yeah. And so, let's get into talking about your company. So, can you first tell us a little bit about you, so everyone knows?
Sure. So my name is Renish Kamal. It's actually much longer than that, but make lives easier by going by Renish. I graduated from the University of Waterloo with sociology and geography as my majors. So obviously that's really ironic for me to be in the toy making space, because now I introduce myself as a toy maker because I am, and started dipping my toes into entrepreneurship in the latter part of my undergrad. So I think the first semester of my last year is when I started getting exposed to this world of startups. And I just kept wondering, like, where are the arts kids? Like, where are the social scientists? Because we have many ideas too, especially being like theorists and focusing on humanities and whatnot. We have a lot of ideas that can be implemented as it gets collaborated with the technical geniuses as well. So I ended up co-founding many startups, and this was one of them. Fidget Toys wasn't called Fidget Toys. It was called the Bike Project then, because it was a study bike concept, but I dropped that really quickly because the research was very valuable, and it was surrounding the whole study, the concept of studying. What is studying? Because I've never really gone to a library to study. I'm more of
not a library
skim
person.
And I think I walk and talk, or I just grasp whatever I need to grasp within a classroom, and then that's that. So that question kept coming up, and I'm trying to answer that question as well. Like, what does studying mean, and how do different learners learn? Like, I know that I've been a kinesthetic learner ever since I was little. So in university, when I was going about this idea, and it was like a part-time startup too, because I was a student. I was I was the president of Art Student Union in my last year as well. So a lot of like advocacy around education was definitely something I was passionate about. And I started realizing, like, there's not a lot of deaf people. There aren't a lot of physically disabled people on campus? Like, why is post-secondary education not accessible? And that question, like, I kept raising it at, like, committees and whatnot. Everybody was like, oh, what? We don't know what you're talking about. Or, like, architecturally, our school is very accessible. I'm like, okay, no. We need to have that assessed as well, because, like, you know, you see the big bulky doors for the bathrooms, but if there's no pusher, there's just no point.
Yeah, and it's also a lot more than that. Just not, like, getting into a building is very different than it being an accessible space to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that question was, like, the question I kept running with, and then I took my first, like, business entrepreneurship course in my last term with Wayne Chang. I love that man. Like, he's just such a phenomenal instructor. And he, like, if I were to define the word mentor, he's genuinely one. Because he found the balance between a personal and a business perspective of things, which is really nice. And, he really structured that kind of thought process and allowed me to be me. Because that's what entrepreneurship is all about, right? Like, you're just supposed to jump in, be yourself, and also pursue a crazy idea that's out of the box for most people, but you do it anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was definitely a cheerleader in that, and kept taking the bike project or that study bike idea, iterating, and I was like, oh my god, I don't have $3,000 to put this bike together. So I was like, okay, since we don't have those kind of resources, what do we have? Like, why do I really want to build this? Let's make make it into a compact device. So it's so much more smaller. I can't carry the study bike with me everywhere. Like, imagine like wearing it as a backpack or whatnot. So kept iterating, and it was during that, like, iteration, like, thought process, I was with my nephew who falls on the spectrum. So Kevin falls on the spectrum of autism, and the thing that drew me in the most was at every, like, family parties and whatnot, my cousin would always take him to the basement, because she was just like, you know, that social destructive commentary is the most hard thing to kind of get out of, right? So she just didn't want to be answering questions, and I know culturally, our parents or people mean well, but they don't know how to structure a question so it's not harmful. So it's almost like, what is wrong with your child versus, like, what can we do?
Tell me a little bit more.
Exactly. So I started spending more time with them, and I realized that, oh my god, like, he's equally frustrated or, like, agitated really easily when he's told to sit still. So I'm sitting still, I'm moving my legs, and I'm just, you know, thinking about the idea, and then I see him doing the same thing. And he's nonverbal as well. So he just wanted ice cream at this birthday party, and he's just trying to communicate that, like, pointing upstairs, blah, blah, and at that moment, like, everybody knows this story. I always talk about the juggling situation where he had, like, a stress ball in one hand because his mom gives him that to, like, calm himself, and then a pencil in the other because he was doing some other activity, and then this, like, frustrated emotion on his face. And nobody was paying attention to that, which was so upsetting to me, because I was like, everybody is looking at these experts and saying, like, oh, Coven is high functioning ADD. Like, this is just, he's not going to grow out of it. And I was like, why are you capping that? Like, that's so unfortunate. And I was like, oh, well, he's moving his feet too. Perhaps, like, if you need his attention, why not move the stress relief at his feet? So that day I just tied, like, a couple of water bottles to his feet, and I think that was the pivot point of, like, redesigning and being like, it just has to be intuitive and non-intrusive to what they need to do at face value or at hand. And I just didn't know what I was doing. So, like, working with what he was already doing and just enhancing the way. Paying attention to his behavior.
Exactly.
Versus putting him on another another spectrum of criteria or characteristics of, like, oh, he's doing this or he's doing that.
It's not one size fits all. So, like, just like your mentor had to work with who you were, working with who he was. And, and so, just so, like, everyone knows, can you describe a little bit about what the toy is?
I can show you some sketches. Like, legit, the first sketch ever was this. So, like, pedals on one side. So it's intuitive, the heel toe that we do, and then rollers. So that's for stimulation. and more research was done, like talking to industry experts and engineers if this was possible, and we're getting there. And actually we've gotten there because we're in manufacturing right now. So it's just a matter of a toy that anywhere someone's seated,
it works with it. Yeah. So his thing was foot tapping, but for everyone else, like, and these behaviors extend to people with anxiety, right? So people bite their nails, or they pick at their skin, or they pull at their hair. And so, like, is there future plans for, like, working with other type of fidget things that would work with those habits? For sure.
So we're disrupting in a way that there's a lot of handheld fidget toys that are coming out, like the Fidget Cube.
Yeah, the Fidget Cube is the big one.
But this is more of like a discrete thing. Like, imagine a classroom where there's no separate classroom for special needs kids. Everybody is in the same classroom learning with a matter of a distraction at their feet.
Right.
And as a stimulation mechanism and whatnot. We're moving from feet up.
Yeah.
So from there's like this knee thing that we're working on, a fidget pen that we're working on. So just feet up.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's focusing there, so
exactly working with like kind of the natural habits.
And I mean, like anxiety, which you mentioned. I got a message through Instagram yesterday where someone was taking a video of a colleague of theirs in a very corporate environment tapping their feet, and it was just like, this is so annoying, but it's so unfortunate because they're so stressed out that they can't. They have this restless leg syndrome kind of thing going on, and I'm like, oh my god, well. A fidget toy can help with that. It helps with people that are obviously anxious. It's all about stress. Stress is uncolored now. Like, there's no spectrum for it. There's no age group of like who deals with stress more than others. Because like a 9-year-old child knows what stress is. Yeah. Like, they're using stress as if it's, oh, you know, like, I have this test to study for, and I'm so stressed. I'm like, No, you're not. Where did you pick this word up? Like, what does stress even mean to you? And again, like, stop hiding behind these labels. They're just labels.
Yeah. No, I've always been like a high achiever and very self-motivated, and people like me, from a young age, I was anxious about school. It was never my parents pushing. It was me, and so it resulted in like bad habits. Exactly like that. And so if you look at my pens, all the like part that clips onto things is all broken off. Because I'll sit and play with it as I'm thinking or as I'm working, because it's something to do with my hands. It's so healthy. It's so healthy. Like, it's phenomenal to see the research done with like retention, right? So like, you know, concentration levels and how much do you actually remember when you're not doing anything, and when you're actually doing something. You're stimulating your blood needs to flow. You can't, like, I don't know at what point in history we decided that it was a desk and chair that, you know, showed formality, showed discipline, but we're just going back in time, and we don't need desks and chairs. We just need to move. Exactly. Even when I would study, the only way I would retain stuff, like, I would retain stuff listening in class, playing with something, but then I would have to rewrite all my notes, all my textbook notes, everything got rewritten by hand. And people are like, why don't you just type it? It takes you hours and hours and hours. I'm like, it doesn't work. I need to, like, be doing something with my hand to actually absorb the knowledge. But that's really good that you picked that up, though. Yeah. And I'm just, that's really good that you did. And it's okay. We'll have a pen for you that doesn't snap off, so it's always there. Yeah, if you look at Shakmay's pens as well, all of them, same thing. I did it yesterday in front of her, and she's like, I broke my pen the same way. And so, in talking about stress, as an entrepreneur, I know stress levels are insane. What do you personally do to kind of manage that and self-care? Oh gosh, I have this thing called a stress coma. So a stress coma is when I know I've really, really pushed myself and I'm anxious. Like that meter we were talking about, right? The burnout meter, and mine is like twitching right between burnout and like getting there. And I just sleep because I don't think I'm a positive cookie to be around when I'm really stressed, because I mean, I get it a lot where apparently I speak in riddles.
in general. So imagine if I was stressed because I'm thinking about one thing and my mind, like I have a creative mind and it's like going off in tangents all the time, as you can even see in this interview. But I just sleep. I sleep it off because even when I'm sleeping, I have dreams that I'm in my meetings. So I feel like I'm still working, or I try to reanalyze what's stressing me out where I'm not around people. And I just pay attention to who I'm around because I don't think situations stress me out. Sometimes just people and how they carry themselves and make the situation stress me out. So I'm just really, really aware of who I'm around, and I like just zoning out and being all hermit mode.
Yeah.
So I sleep.
Sleep is good, and we work problems out in our sleep. That's why sleep is so important. Like aside from healing your body, your brain works stuff out in your sleep. And I like that you talked about it's people who stress us out because we can all handle the work, especially you're working on a passion project. Like this is what you love to do. So it's not the work, it's like everything else that comes with it that is like a lot and overwhelming. And so aside from sleep, are you a workout? Like Shakman, I know works out a ton. A lot of our guests are big on the workout, not me.
No. I got this whole body weight thing, so I'm like, okay, squats but that's just to like distract my mind. Like just to learn something new. Like the whole workout thing, I get it. Like it's been mentioned in a lot of entrepreneurial books of like, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, workout. Yeah, hell no. I ain't about that life because I think that comes from a comfort thing too. I don't know. I really don't know if working out is my thing, but I just need to do something else. I tend to go to the movies alone. That's something I do. Okay. It's just like a stop drop. I mean, again, like mentioning the whole I carry my passport around.
Yeah.
I just go out and see a good movie. And they're like typically they're animation or Disney because they're like the feel good movies. Exactly. And sometimes you just need to hear that. And yeah, I would watch movies alone. I think that's another thing I do. I mean, I'm spending money there, so maybe. Yeah, just learning about body weights, I guess, at home. Yeah. No,
I like the movie thing, and I like that you go alone. That's like, we have a whole article on the blog about, like, ditching this whole stigma of doing things alone. We have this, like, need for validation that, like, people are going to think I'm weird if I go alone. But what are you doing with a friend at a movie? Exactly. It's a movie. You don't need to talk.
Exactly.
You can just sit and enjoy it, and, like, especially with animated movies, just enjoy the music, the positive message. It's like, Zone out,
exactly. I'm the worst. So that's where like I feel I'm making a courtesy call for the companions that I take along with me to movies because I'm like the critique person. I'm like, they didn't edit that one properly. Like, did you just see that spoon? It was over there on the table, and then now it's over here. Did you not catch that? And they're like, shut up. I'm like, okay, sure. I go alone.
No, I have a list of friends that are like I don't go to movies with because I like heavy dramas and like thrillers, and so like people talking just kills the entire thing. So they're like not movie partners
put me
at all.
On that list too. Please put me on that list.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. I like the movie thing. Working out is not my thing. I like to walk. Like I'll go on like long walks with music, and then it's just like my release. Like I don't check my phone. I simply have it for music. I gotta like let go of the phone.
Cooking does that. I do that with cooking. Yes. When I'm cooking, I don't touch my phone. I just allow the music to take its course.
Yeah. But everyone here in the office knows I'm a huge baker, so I bake for the office because I don't want to have it in the house. I'll eat it all. Right. So I'll like sit and like that is my ultimate stress relief. About anything else, I know if I'm in a bad mood, I just need to bake, and like by the end of it, I'll be in a good mood. It's like magic because it focuses your mind so much.
Exactly. And it's a passion project in itself.
Yeah, I enjoy it so much.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm all about that.
Yeah, no, I love it.
So you have a partner for that. Please include me on that.
Yes. Skip the movies. We'll bake and cook. We'll make like a
Wow, sounds like a perfect date.
Good. I like this plan. Well, thank you so much for coming. And for all our viewers, if you have any suggestions for guests, for topics that you'd like to hear about, we're so open. Just comment below. And if you have any questions for myself, Renish, then comment also below, and we'll be sure to answer them as soon as possible. And have a great weekend. Remember, we all face challenges in life. It's how we perceive them, how we cope. that really defines our experience. So go out and enjoy, hopefully, the nice weather this weekend. Sick of the rain, so hopefully...
unicorn frap.
Yeah. Yes, try the unicorn frappuccino. Deal with the sugar. It's 1 week. You can do it. And enjoy your weekend, guys. Bye.
Bye.